Hey, Ron here. So I was going to make a video about class reductionism and why it's bad, but in light of recent, let's call it discourse on Twitter, I've decided instead to make a video that I've been putting off for a great deal of time, and that is the best standards and practices for using Twitter. You might notice that's not the name of this video. I gave this video a clickbait title, and the answer is yes. Kind of. It's complicated. Let me explain. So, the thing that you have to understand about Twitter is that Twitter is very, very, very good at one specific thing. Twitter is very good at spreading snippets of information very, very quickly. Your average tweet, whether it's a video clip that's 2 minutes long, whether it's a link to something, whether it's a 260 character blurb, your average tweet is something that you're not going to be looking at for more than a minute. And when I say you're not going to be looking at it, I mean that you're going to be able to take the information in and absorb it and decide whether or not you're going to spread it within the span of a minute. People talk about, I've heard people complain about, like, people making thousands of tweets a day, but there are people who are better at reading comprehension than other people. I'm very good at reading comprehension, for example. So that brings us to what the first best standard and practice is. Retweet, like, and signal boost. Generally speaking, when someone wants you to share something, it's for a good reason. It could be something as important as they need insulin in order to live. It could be something as important as they were kicked out of their house because they came out as trans to their parents, and their parents didn't like that. It could be that someone is looking for a lost relative or a lost pet. It could be that someone is trying to sell art or trying to find commissions for art. It could be that they're like me and they want people to view media that they've created. But because Twitter is so very specifically good at spreading information, it is in our best interest to go along with that, to spread information when it is opportune to do so. Twitter works on a sort of algorithm. YouTube does too, but Twitter's is significantly less sophisticated and much easier to game. Twitter, K-pop stans did that during the George Floyd protests, when they took over white nationalist hashtags, I guess. But, like, you don't need to do that. Not every tweet needs to go viral, even things that are ostensibly important. Like, I'm not sure I would need any of my content to go viral in any meaningful capacity. Also, if you don't feel comfortable or safe sharing something, then don't do that. You don't have to share everything you see. That's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's generally good practice to share things when you have an opportunity to do so. The second best standard and practice is to understand that Twitter is a reduced platform. So I said before that Twitter is very good at spreading snippets of information, tiny individual things. Because it's so good at that, because the format is so good for that, the format is consequentially very, very, very bad at spreading longer form information for a number of reasons. Like I said, you're typically not going to look at a tweet for more than a minute at a time. Even if you're... Because you shouldn't need to look at a tweet for more than a minute at a time. And if you have a lengthy thread with 20 or 50 or 100 tweets, people are going to have difficulty concentrating long enough to read that. Even someone like me, who has an iron willpower and a talent for focusing on banal, uninteresting, esoteric, and dull things, I have difficulty going through 100 an essay, basically, on twitter.com. Because it's designed to be banal. It's like that on purpose. I just want to make sure that Twitter wants you to be looking at a diversity of things, because they want you to be spreading a diversity of things. Or at least a diversity of things that they've decided that it's something that they want you to look at. So, what you're going to want to do is make the thing that you're trying to say as succinct as possible. If you can fit it in one tweet, do that. Cut out words that aren't necessary, or reduce your language a little bit. 2 tweets, if you need to do that, that's okay, but it's not ideal. If you need to make more than 5 tweets to make a point, then just make a short video if you have the ability to do that. I've done that a few times. On a related note, since this is something that's happening, since the far right is getting in on the comrades under 1K thing, I feel it imperative to mention that it is not helpful. It is not beneficial to anyone to get into arguments or discussions with people on the far right. And I don't just mean that in the don't feed the trolls sense. What these people will do is they will provoke and agitate and pester until you have said something that is ban-worthy, and then they'll get you banned. Think of it as being like a bully who convinces you to swing first. That's one of the things that they do. There are other things they do, targeted harassment and doxing, but that's evidently something that we're going to have to deal with for at least a little while. It's not helpful to discuss these things with people, and it might even be harmful to you personally. They could take your Twitter profile down, is what I'm getting at. I've seen that happen before, more than once, and yeah, it's just a good idea to bear that in mind. And that kind of smoothly transitions us into the third best practice, and that is to congregate in other places. So Twitter is bad at gathering people together for discussions, as I said. But there are other places that are good at that. You could go to Discord, you could go to Reddit, you could go to Facebook. Everybody has a Facebook page. There are dozens, maybe hundreds of Facebook groups that you could join. I don't know of any of them offhand, and if anyone knows of any Facebook groups or Discord servers, I could suggest some Discord servers, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you want to congregate in other places. Twitter is good for giving a first impression of being in the left, for finding people and, like, getting them together. But for getting together and organizing things, you want to have a different avenue. And this isn't something that's, like, far out there. The right has all kinds of places where they do this. They have the Daily Wire, they have their fucking 4chan, even the far right, the fascists and the Holocaust deniers. They have the Daily Stormer, they have 8chan, they have the Daily Shoah, I guess. It's good practice not to just... It is always good practice to find a place to congregate that lets you communicate effectively. And if we're going to be doing things on a large scale, which I hope the plan is at some point to do things together on a large scale, then we're going to want to be able to congregate in such a way that we can hear each other, that we're not limited to like 280 characters at a time. So yeah, in summary, first best practice, like, retweet, and spread the word. Signal boost is the word I use. Like, retweet, and signal boost. Understand that Twitter is a reduced platform, and congregate in other online spaces. And in real life spaces, if you can do that. If you live in a bigger town like Springfield, find a place to get together. Like, if you live in Springfield and you're like, hey Ron, a bunch of us lefty weirdos are having a get-together, can you come over here with us? I'll probably come over there. I don't have anything better to do. This entire No Comrade Left Behind thing, it is an exercise in solidarity and mutual aid. And it doesn't just stop with following each other. It doesn't just stop with working together. It doesn't stop until we say it stops. So we have to figure out what we want to do. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. I'm all sayed out. I have regular links in the description of the video. That's my Curious Cat if you want to send me anonymous questions, or send me anonymous harassment if you're one of those far-right weirdos who takes great pleasure in that. Go ahead and send me harassment. I am the rocks of eternity. Crash upon me and be broken. My Twitter is down there. I'm expecting that there are a lot of new-ish people to my channel who are going to be viewing that. I just broke 1,000 followers on Twitter, and I'm expecting that by the time this gets uploaded, I'll have more than 1,100. And that's all due to this No Comrade Left Behind campaign, or No Comrade under 1K. If you're on Twitter, I would very much recommend that you follow along with that and start following people. Be a little bit judicious. Evidently, the far-right weirdos are trying to get into this and worm their way into spaces, and just keep an eye out. Watch for when people joined. Don't follow anyone. Don't let anyone follow you who just made their profile a few days ago. And, go look at who people are following. Go look at what people are saying on their timelines. If it seems suspect, then it probably is suspect. Just basic OPSEC stuff. I can talk more about, basic OPSEC stuff later, but that's what you need to keep in mind. I have an email if you want me to participate in different leftist projects. I'll participate as much as I can, but my situation at home is very tenuous right now. I have a Ko-Fi account if you felt that this was entertaining enough or educational enough to send me some money. I don't want anyone to feel obligated to send me money. I'm doing this because it's a labor of love, because it's important to me. But my living situation right now is very tenuous. I haven't had running water in a week. My sister broke the water main. Well, that's not even true. The water main busted open. And, we don't know what happened. We need to replace, 8 feet of pipe. And we haven't been able to do it yet because pipe costs money that we don't have. And maybe not a lot of money, but we don't have a lot of money. So I haven't taken a shower, or washed my clothes, or flushed my toilet in a week. And it is becoming very stressful for everyone at the house. So, again, I don't want anyone to feel obligated to give me money, but I would very much appreciate it, now more than almost any other time that I've asked. Yeah. The next video I'm going to make is probably going to be about class reductionism and why it is bad and wrong. It's the video that I intended to make and release today, but then the Twitter stuff happened, and I decided to make this one instead. So, I'll see if I can get that one out by Saturday, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, until we get there, take care of yourselves, alright?